What is going on, everybody? This is your host of the Colin Thompson Show. Colin Thompson, appreciate you guys tuning in. Brought to you by Not For Long Media, our friends at the original Fudge Kitchen. Thank you so much for your support. FudgeKitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Check them out, guys. Jersey Shore Fudge, cannot beat it. Ocean City, New Jersey, all the way down to Cape May. Multiple locations in those little towns all the way throughout there. Plus, they ship literally across the country. You cannot beat that. It's fresh. It lasts for weeks. I love it. You love it. Saltwater taffy, the whole nine. Check them out, fudgekitchens.com. Big thanks to our friends over at SeatGeek, guys. They are hooking it up. Promo code Colin Thompson, $20 off tickets over $50. Check them out. Again, promo code Colin Thompson. Check them out. SeatGeek. And then our new latest sponsorship, what I'm going to get into after our buddy Zach Gelb here is waiting in the wings, is our friends over at Som Sleep. I know we all struggle to sleep at times. This has been a sports sleep drink that I'm obsessed with. It's not just sports, but I just call it that because I've associated it and found it through my time in football. It's called Som Sleep, SOM. Use promo code Colin, COLIN, Colin. Check them out. It's the best sleep drink. We're going to get into that here in a little bit, but I got Zach Gelb waiting in the wings. Lots to talk about. Temple legend, CBS Sports Radio legend. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. And I was just writing down everything that you were saying because I'm going down to the Jersey Shore at the end of the month for an entire week.
Wow.
So I'll need to stop and get some fudge. And I'm sure sooner rather than later, I'm going to want to go to a football game. So I'll use that promo code for SeatGeek. If I need Carolina Panthers tickets, I don't know. Maybe I'll know someone that could get me into the building for free. But if not, and I have to be like a regular person, I'll use the SeatGeek code.
Well, I'll say this as a wise person, not a man, can't say man anymore. A wise person once told me, nothing is free in this world. I have to pay for those tickets. And if I get them complimentary, we get 2 tickets to every home game complimentary. We pay the taxes on them, first off. And then second off, every ticket plus that, I'm paying like house ticket prices. So I'm not going to say
all
numbers.
I'm saying is when I needed playoff tickets to Bills Patriots this past year, Tyler Medikevich hooked it up for free.
He's on a second contract. He's on a second contract. That guy. Yeah. Now he is getting crushed by the state income tax of the beautiful state of New York. So
tell me about it.
If we make the playoffs, when we make the playoffs, Zach, I will hook you up with a ticket for sure.
Okay. I'll keep you to that. And you know what? I'll even do you the favor of I will pay for the taxes. Is that all right?
Wow. The $25.
Only if I could sit with Ed Foley's family. If I get to rock with Ed Foley's family, I'm good to go.
People listening to this must be like, man, Colin's cheap. I promise you, I'm not. I just look at my bill at the end of the year for what I spent on tickets, and I'm like, I could have bought a house, a car. I could have put that on.
You should have used your SeatGeek code, you moron.
Then I could have double dipped. Promo code Colin Thompson. I'm going to be punching that in for every ticket. So what's up, man? What do you got going on? Talk to me about what's going on in your world right now.
Yeah, so we just had a good week. I was on TV for some reason last week. They wanted to put my mug on television, so I did 3 or 4 days of television for CBS Sports Network, which is a whole lot of fun. And we're still in this kind of cycle right now where we're waiting for the football season to start, but your sport, whatever the reasons are, keeps on giving us big news item after big news item. If it's
Shocker.
Baker Mayfield getting traded to your Carolina Panthers, or Zach Wilson and Dax Milne having a little situation going on. We've done a lot of football and the NBA. The offseason is better than the regular season, and we're all waiting to see what happens with Kevin Durant.
So I've said it on here before. My co-host, producer, do it all man, Jack in the back. Jack Connell's a huge NBA, huge Sixers fan. And I'll be honest, I became a big Sixers fan. Obviously,
does he only do the podcast like every third time and participates in a lot of load management since he's a Sixers fan?
Oh,
and randomly says his back hurts.
Shot at Jack in the back, and he's not even here to defend himself. He gets a day off finally.
Load management day right there.
He's down the Jersey Shore. He actually went to the Fudge Kitchen. Check it out, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. He went to Fudge Kitchen today and got some fudge too because he's bringing it home. It's his last trip down the shore, I think, for the summer. So Jack in the back's not even here to defend himself, but he's a big Sixers fan. I was obviously Mutombo, Allen Iverson, or that era was undeniable, just fantastic. Pat Croce, was a family friend. That those good times, and I get to talk to Pat and share stories about them. Those days are fantastic. But I'll say this: I got into them through college. My roommate Fitz and I went from Archbishop Wood together to Florida together, and he was a diehard Sixers fan. And I'm born and raised in Philly, so I watch them. But then when they stink, they stink. I'm very fair weather Phillies fan. When Philly, that's not really Philly. Philly's always doubted on their teams. But this is kind of how I was raised. Big time Flyers fan, no matter what. But I watched the Trust the Process years. I was a big fan of those years. So I'm like, there's at least a direction here. Like, I want a direction if I'm a sports fan. That's why I'm struggling with the Flyers right now. It's like, well, they're in no man's land. There's no cap room. There's no this. There's no that. So that's why I get a little hung up on what they're doing. Now, if they go for Johnny Gaudreau and Johnny Hockey and they make a big move and a big splash, hey, listen, we know which way they're going now. But so I struggle with that. So the NBA to me is a bore fest. Really.
100%.
Like, it really is. Like, I love basketball. Like, I'm a basketball player. That's all I got playing tight end. Like, it's a transition. That's very normal now.
Yeah.
But it happened in high school, right? Like most guys. We're a basketball family, but the NBA is boring. Like, you have to wait until the playoffs to get fun. And I get it.
And even some of these series this year in the postseason were not all that entertaining. I like the NBA, but I will say the product in the regular season, it's kind of irrelevant. There's not a lot of times where we talk regular season basketball unless if there is drama associated to it. And the NBA players do more than enough to provide drama with all the trades, in season, off season, all of that. But I just don't know who's going to play on a night in and night out basis. Now, if I'm a fan of the Toronto Raptors, let's say, when they had Kawhi Leonard, you may be bitching in the regular season that Kawhi misses 22 regular season games. If you win a championship, you're jumping up and down like a fat kid in a candy store and saying bleep you to everyone else that has a problem with load management. So I understand load management to an extent. The problem is not everyone is the Toronto Raptors where it results in a championship. And Kevin Durant got hurt this year. Kyrie Irving got hurt. You look at the Clippers. Paul George was hurt. You had Kawhi Leonard out the entire season. Like, injuries happen. I get injuries and I get protecting and taking care of your body, but they kind of fix the schedule to try to eliminate load management. But once you get players in that realm of, okay, I'm going to miss 20 games a season, they just get accustomed to it. And you can make a case, even though I was just bashing load management a moment ago. Look at LeBron James. He was someone that never wanted to participate in load management. Say what you want about LeBron, and he's obviously one of the greatest players of all time. He never wanted to participate in load management. He was always shows up and be ready for the big moments. And 3 of the last 4 seasons, it looks like he could use some time off. Not that he's not still playing at a great level, but he's missing games now because his body's starting to break down.
There's a lot to unpack with the NBA. And like I said, the product is just, it's too many games. It's you can miss 10, 15 games, 20 games in a season. And I get it. But just once you watch March Madness, you're like, this is awesome. And I get it. There's high stakes. There's not as many games. Mm-hmm. It's sudden death, right? Beautiful. It creates an unbelievable environment. You can't do that at the NBA. You need to get guys to get salaries and get paid. And we are a player-friendly, go get paid podcast. Go. I don't care.
Sure.
But I don't know. And not that I was like, we're going to talk NBA today, but you can't help it. It's like, I like the offseason better. This is awesome. I hope the Sixers make a move. Harden's taking less. Great. They drafted a kid. I want to tune on the summer league because I know some of the kids. Colin Gillespie and I are close. He's with Nova. Obviously, he's with the Denver Nuggets now. He's doing great. He's taking charges left and right. He's just a Villanova guy all over the floor in summer league.
Well, let's be real. Who really gives a rat's ass about summer league?
I don't care about the regular season either.
Over summer league, I don't care about summer league. Just be healthy.
I don't care about the regular season either. That's my point.
Fair.
To me, it's all the same.
You're not wrong. And I know you mentioned college basketball. You and I going to Temple, and I'm wearing the Temple polo right here. We love regular season college basketball. Most people don't give a bleep about regular season college basketball. They just start watching during the conference tournaments. And
I think it's only going to get better, folks, with what's going on with this conference realignment. I want to hear your take on the NIL stuff. I think I've said my piece last week of, listen, guys, it's happening. Change is happening. It's inevitable in sports. There's a lot of people making a lot of money. Make the conferences better. Great. It's not a normal. People like to travel. It's not normal. It used to be, up in this corner, there was at Big East, and this corner was the SEC, and this corner is the Pac-12. It's done. It's the NFL now. It's the NFL, but with a lot of teams. The product's going to get even better. USC.
One of my favorite weeks when I was a kid growing up, I would beg my mom for me to miss school, and my dad and myself, we would go to Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament each and every year. And I've seen, I don't want to say the death of the Big East because they've done a good job restoring that conference with the dominance of Villanova and the changes that they've made. but the old Big East that I loved isn't the same Big East. So I'm already past the point of logic and geographic regions mattering in college sports, because that's been so long dead to me. Here's my question, because I think we're going into either three ways in college football. It's either going to be one super conference, 65, 70 teams, and if you're not in the 65, 70, you're left in the dust. Or it could be like American League, National League, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, join the Big Ten, join the SEC, and there's different sectors in the Big Ten of the SEC. But I have the thought, and I'm sure you have a similar thought as well, and you've seen it from big-time college football at Florida, and then a smaller school that was able to make an impact when you were there at Temple University. I wonder what happens to these non-Power 5 schools. So what I think really happens is, and this is what I hope happens, Big Ten, SEC, and then it's the reject conference or everybody else, if you want to include the schools that didn't leave the Big 12, that didn't leave the ACC, that didn't leave the Pac-12. I would kind of have those three conferences go from the Power 5 to the Power 3.
Well, I'll say this. I think a small school, if you consider Temple in a small conference, they would be joyous to be a part of the leftover group, because then you have like
100%.
Whoever be in that from the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, and I think that'd be really cool. The problem is, can the budget support it? Probably not. I'm for it. I don't want to go that route, because I think that's boring. Like,
the main attraction would be, obviously, and this is what I would do if I'm the Big 12, the ACC, and the Pac-12. And I know we're in this waiting stage of, is the Big 12 going to go join or going to go grab 4 or 6 of those Pac-12 schools, or is the Pac-12 going to have this Fugazi alliance that never works with the ACC? If I'm the ACC, I'm basically calling Notre Dame and saying to Notre Dame, join our conference now, give an incentive for schools like Clemson, Miami, Florida State to stay, and you start to build up and take the best of what is a bad situation and give a reason for schools in the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC all want to say. Now, ultimately, I'm not an idiot. If you're a school that's in the Big 12 or you're in the ACC and the Big 10 comes knocking and they offer you $80 to $100 million in TV revenue, we know what drives the train in college football, and that's the money. So probably, if I had to take a guess, I'm hoping for the 3 conferences, probably going to 1 or 2 conferences of just the big dogs, and then everyone else has to go to a different division of football.
So I'm going to unpack Notre Dame after this. I'll say this about Temple and these small schools. If I'm the athletic director at these schools and I'm the head coach of these programs, Coastal Carolina, App State, Temple, the teams got left behind now, because when we were good at Temple, there was talk about us going to the Big 12. And I'm like, get the heck out of here.
I never thought it was going to happen, but you had a motivated athletic director, Impact Craft, and you had a school that was ready at the right moment. Like, look at UCF. They're going to the Big 12. Not that long ago, UCF had 0 wins in a season. Then they claimed the college football, national championship and all that other stuff. And very quickly afterwards, they're in, for now, what is a Power 5 conference.
So they took off, right? I was trying to transfer in that after that and whatever year, because I was at Florida and I want to stay close to my now wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and our friends, and I want to continue that Florida lifestyle. And it was an awesome thing. I picked it for a reason. I didn't want to leave it.
So we almost never even knew each other.
Never. We would have met, though. It's destiny. But I can't stop talking. I'm on a mic, so we would have met. My point is, they hit it at the right time, right? And they did. Cincinnati, same boat. Houston, they haven't even been that great, but they're in a big city.
No.
They've won relatively not too long ago, and they haven't fallen off the cliff like Temple did and the previous staff did. I think Drayton's going to do a fantastic job with the new staff. He's been unbelievable with alumni, and I know they have a lot of work to do, but I think things will be going the right direction. So I digress. I think my point was, with the athletic directors and coaches, I'm going all in. I'm calling every booster under the sun, and I'm saying, listen, we have a 2-year window. We have to win right now, or we're going to go to some abyss, and we're not going to be able to get out of it. Because what's going to happen is these power conferences, they're going to be looking for things. Temple's got that huge media market in Philly, massive top 5 market in the country when it comes to sports media. People want that, but there's no one to grab a hold to. You can't take Nova because they don't have the football team. You can't take Drexel, LaSalle, Penn, all those for obvious other reasons. But Temple's the wild card. When things were good, you could get pulled because of A, Philly, B, you're successful, C, you play in a giant stadium, D, you can build a stadium on campus at some point in time. It didn't happen before, but with the right money and the right conference, that gets pushed through. So to me, if I'm biggest booster at Coastal Carolina or Temple or whatever, I am writing checks. I'm getting the best players in there, because if not, I think you die on the vine, because you're saying there's going to be 3-4 conferences, and then who's left over? What are you even playing? Do they even have bowl games? So that's that. And then secondly, Notre Dame wise, all my Penn State buddies, and they got to join the Big Ten. Well, they don't have to do anything. And I think
they should join the Big Ten.
But to me, they don't have to do anything.
So no, because they're Notre Dame.
I think they're going to sit back. They're going to wait for their cards to fall where they fall. Everybody wants them. They don't need anybody, because financially they have so much backing. They only have they could have their own network. They do. And really, at the end of the day, like, they're just going to wait to see what happens, and they're going to make a decision. And they could be the leader of that small conference, of that conference of the leftovers, and just say, all right, sure, we'll play you in a couple games every year. But at the end of the day, we know if we go undefeated, we're going to be in the college football playoff. We're going to play, the leftover American Conference. We're going to play the leftover Pac-12.
But it also gives them the freedom. And still, if they join the ACC full time, and you put the Big 12 in there, you put the Pac-12 in there, they're the top dog, no matter if they win or not. So they could still basically call their schedule, call their shot, and have all that flexibility that they want. But still, once again, I know it's Notre Dame. I know they have money out the wazoo. The Big Ten contracts, though, are just ridiculous what they would get. Like, look at Rutgers. Rutgers stinks at football. And Rutgers gets all this money from the Big Ten contract. So that, to me, if Rutgers is that, then like Notre Dame, why aren't you going to go join the Big Ten? And I get it, right? There's other great schools in there: Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. But for Notre Dame, and now you do obviously have the two schools that come over the Pac-12, UCLA and USC. For Notre Dame, though, this is eventually truncating, which we all do believe. And let's say they don't want to be the leader of that third conference, or that third conference just never does form, because people are going to start bolt and thinking about themselves. We've already seen that. And it's like, all right, we're SOL. We don't really want to join a conference. We've been clear on that for a while. The only time we joined the conference was during COVID. We have this affiliation with the ACC. If there's only one or two conferences left, I guess now we have to join the conference. That's what's going to end up happening. And Washington and Oregon will probably join the Big 12, and then more of those schools are going to leave, and there's going to be more chaos. If I'm being honest with you, and I don't want this to happen because it screws over the little school, 65, 70 of the top teams in college football, 65 to 70 biggest brands or biggest media markets, whatever it is, it's going to be one conference. And the shame of that is, like, when we went to Temple, look how many guys you guys put in the NFL. Like, there's like, what happened to the Deion Dawkins of the world? What happened to the Hassan Reddicks of the world when they got to Temple, no one knew who they were. And then Deion now is a starting left tackle on a Super Bowl caliber team, and Hassan Reddick was a top 15 pick in the draft. What happens to those diamonds in the rough, let's just say, that needed the smaller school to get to where they were because they got passed over by the big school?
Well, those small schools are still going to be there. Those stories are still going to happen. It's really going to be no difference to me. Like, to me, my argument is it's all going to remain the same, folks. And that's why I'm like, everyone pump the brakes. We're still going to be watching football in October, whether you like NIL or not. The kids are going to be out there playing hard. They may dance in the end zone a little bit longer. Great. But at the end of the day, like, it's still the same product. The freaking stadium's rocking. Tickets are selling. You're buying shirts online. You're all in. You booked a ticket to watch Tennessee play so-and-so in the whatever bowl. And then you're going to go watch Tennessee play in March Madness 4 months after that. Okay. So to me, like, college football isn't going to change. There's still going to be the small schools that are great. And hey,
well, what happens if they break away from the NCAA?
Well, I still think they're going to exist, and those guys can still play, because at the end of the day at Temple, when things were dark, and Coach Rule and Dazio and Golden and all those guys that came through, and Jeff Collins that did a great job, and I think Coach Diaz will too, is they went and pulled those kids out. Those kids had nothing. They didn't care who they played. I mean, we played whoever.
You mean Coach Drayton? Did you say Coach Diaz?
What did I say? Drayton? Did I say Diaz?
Yeah. What are you trying to get under my skin? We don't.
No, I was just saying the lineage there, because he was a part of the lineage, whether you say it or not.
17 days.
Coach Drayton,
and that guy wanted out after like 5 days. That snake.
I interviewed him actually during my first TV hit ever. My only TV hit ever was a live, Philly local.
Oh, on the introductory press conference.
No, not with Manny. It was a recruiting day thing. We sat down in the main area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I digress. I think it's all going to stay the same, folks. Yeah, there's going to be a new conference and all that stuff, but the schedules are going to come out and be the same. they're going to be playing the same rivalry games because they make money. But here's the thing about rivalries, and I heard Cowherd say this, and a guy I really respect in the business. Colin's like, rivalries are only rivalries because teams are good. So the new rivalries are going to be made. If USC's good, those freaking USC games when they play Michigan State and Michigan, they're going to be incredible. UCLA, like that's going to be awesome. The Rose Bowl is going to be played. And that's where the Big Ten championship is going to be played, I would assume. So the Big Ten is going to be rocking. If you get a Notre Dame in there,
the Big Ten and the SEC have no problems.
Oh,
let's be real.
I just want to join them. Yeah. No, I hear you.
They're the most attractive girl at the prom, both those conferences.
The small ball stuff, though, it's going to be the same.
Okay.
But
I hope you're right.
If they make one big small ball conference, I think it'd be cool.
It would be
Coastal, App State, Temple, ECU, Charlotte, like they're great cities. It'll be great for all their sports. I think that's good. I digress. We can talk about it all day. I want to move over to your tweet about today. I sent it to you via text. Quote, whenever I got to MetLife Stadium, I always think it's a waste of money. They could have done a lot better job with the money spent. It's the exact opposite, though, when you go to Citi Field. Been open since 2009, and it's still a great ballpark. Food is spectacular and always something new, end quote. Follow Zach Gelb, at Zach Gelb on Twitter. Talk more, brother, because I have my take on MetLife as well.
MetLife Stadium's a dump. And this is coming from someone that lives in the New York area. And I'm not a proponent. I'm not an advocate for a dome stadium. So I would never want to see a dome stadium in the New York, New Jersey area because I like football weather. I think that's also an advantage for the local teams, like this new Buffalo stadium that they're trying to build. You're going to put a dome on that? Forget about it. The Jets and the Giants, they don't need a dome or a retractable roof, but you could still make it a good stadium with it being an outdoor stadium. And every time I go there, it just looks like a metal blob and it has no personality. I know the Jets and the Giants both share the stadium, so they had to make it kind of down the middle because when the old Giants Stadium was open, there's a reason why it was called Giant Stadium, and it was clearly a Giant Stadium. But whenever I go there, I'm never blown away by it. And I go, oh, they spent that much money on it. It's a disaster. And I went to the Super Bowl. I'm wearing the hat right now at SoFi Stadium. That place is a palace. It's like a 5-star resort, and it's unbelievable. Now, Citi Field is an outdoor stadium, baseball stadium in New York. Opened since 2009. When they first opened it, people go, oh, it had no personality because the Wilpons wanted to just pay homage to the Brooklyn Dodgers and look like a lot like Ebbets Field. But once you really started to enjoy Citi Field, and also they have new food additions. Like me and my buddies, we went to the game the other day. We had these General Tso's chicken nuggets, nachos, a filet mignon cheesesteak. The food there is effing good. You go to MetLife Stadium, I go, you got crappy football, crappy food, and a crappy looking stadium.
Okay, so someone that played for the Giants, I have the utmost respect for the Maras and everybody included in that building. They were first class through and through. I was blown away, and they are the beacon of the NFL when it comes to that. They are first class. MetLife Stadium, I played an XFL game in there. I played NFL games in there, regular season and preseason. I'll say this. And here's the only reason why I want it to be a dome. Sole reason why. If they were any other location, if they were in Buffalo, if they were in Pittsburgh, I would say no dome. But you are in the entertainment capital of the world. Sure. I'm building Jerry's World. I'm building a mall next to it. I'm building everything under the sun attached to it. I'm building a hockey arena. I'm making that place. I'm attaching it to the racetrack where the horses run right there. I am making that a sports mecca that's convenient, Christmas shopping, craziness on steroids. I'm building bars all around the place, make it look like Fenway Park where you walk in and it's Wrigleyville and it's because you have two franchises. You're in the entertainment capital of the world. Make it indoor like you're at the Trop in Atlantic City where you're walking around and it looks like it's outside, but it's really inside. Find a way to make it work. I build Jerry's World on steroids. And because here's why. You can have literally Mecca March Madness there and bring it back. March Madness.
You could, but you have it anyway at Madison Square Garden.
But I'm saying you could pair it with the Garden. You could pair it with the Garden.
You would get a Final Four. That's what you would do. You get Final Four and Super Bowls if they had a dome at MetLife Stadium.
Super Bowls, Final Fours.
They had a Super Bowl.
Well, it was freezing. It was outdoor. And
No. The Super Bowl between Denver and Seattle. The actual day, and I was there. you wore layers and layers and layers, and you started to get to the stadium and you started taking layers off. The NFL made a deal with God for that Super Bowl because the next day, Colin, when everyone was trying to get out of town, mega snowstorm. The actual game, it was warm. They're not going to go back, though, to New York for a while because of that fear of having a big-time snowstorm. Now, when the Super Bowl was at Jerry's World in Dallas, there was an ice storm. And
I was there.
Idiots in Dallas, I was there too, never get snow. So I am driving on the highway with my father as we're going to the media center. And you know when we go to the park as kids and like you have one of those big cranes that are digging up dirt? That's what these morons were trying to do to get the snow off the road. My dad looked at me and he said, "We're going to die." We thought we were going to die. So even if you have a dome, you end up getting snow. And I saw, right, a few of those seats had problems for that Super Bowl. Remember in Minnesota that one year when the roof caved in and they had to go play at the Golden Gophers Stadium. I think that was the year where
that stadium was so old, though.
That
new Minnesota stadium is unbelievable, though. That's one of my favorite stadiums. My point is this.
Very cool.
If it wasn't New York City right next to it, Buffalo should be outdoors. Pittsburgh should be outdoors.
But
Philly.
that's not New York.
I hear you, but New York is the entertainment capital and sports hub. Sure. Create the hub, make it a mecca. Walk around the turf, make it a 365. They just did it in our stadium in Charlotte. They turfed it. Devastating for a player. Best grass in the NFL. Mr. Tepper decides to turf it. Think about the business it's brought. So this was last year opening weekend in college football. I think like Charlotte played Duke, App State played ECU, Clemson played Georgia. 3 straight days. That brought in at least $1 billion for the city of Charlotte because it's turfed. If you're doing that in New York in the off season, having huge concerts, having all that stuff all indoors, it becomes a massive spectacle and becomes more of a hub. That's all I'm saying. Make it a hub. Is it disappointing for football? I get it. I'm the guy that I love the fall day.
I was the idiot that went to Buffalo this year in that -2 degree football game, Patriots and the Bills, and I had to stand on cardboard in 7 layers, and my feet were still cold and as sore as could be. When I was leaving the stadium, I had a good parking spot. It took me 45 minutes to walk to the parking spot, which only should have been a 5-minute walk. I'm just a sucker for bad weather at football games. There's something to me when you got a crowd rocking. No one could even feel any part of their body. It's 2 degrees. You got the fans going nuts, and you have a team trying to go win a playoff game. That to me makes the NFL for some of those Northeast cities.
No doubt. And Pittsburgh, keep it. Philly, keep it. Buffalo, keep it. But I would do everything that they're doing in LA.
You've lost your roots. That's what you have.
You're
now a Charlotte guy. You want to go have caviar in Dallas with frickin' Jerry Jones. I need the New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York, Colin Thompson that I.
And look what it got you, complaining about the stadium.
You know what? The headline of this podcast, Colin Thompson has become soft. That's what it is.
Hey, look what it got you. You're the one tweeting about how you hate a stadium. So
MetLife sucks. You could have a great outdoor stadium. It's not MetLife.
Now, how about this? Could you? Well, listen. I'm going to stand firm on this. Standing firm on it. It's a mecca of the world in entertainment, not just our country.
Sure.
You know, you were working that.
Here's the thing: when you're the best looking girl, you don't need to change things to appease everybody else. I'm still getting the NCAA tournament here. I'm still getting all the big rock stars here and all the rappers here.
It's over.
Still happening.
They're all going to LA, just like 2 NFL teams, just like the NFL Combine. That could all happen in New York. You could have the Jets and the Giants.
Why do we need the Combine? Why do we need a bunch of guys running around in shorts and a T-shirt and doing stupid tests? We don't need that here.
Could have the NFL draft in there.
They had it for years, and then they got rid of it because they wanted to take it to other cities.
Because there's more going on.
You think I miss seeing Jets and Giants fans booing whoever the pick is? Even if the pick's going to be great or everyone just, who cares? I'm fine with the big events being somewhere else because then I get to go to the big events. And I'm better off getting to go to a New Orleans Super Bowl or this past year Las Vegas for the draft. I don't want those things to be regularities in New York because then I don't get to travel. I'm here all the time.
Yeah. Your arguments aren't strong. You're saying you want to get out of the city. I love it though. It's a great city. It's the best city on planet.
You think I want more people at Katz's Deli? I already have to wait 45 minutes to get a bleeping pastrami sandwich. You think I need more people during Super Bowl week preventing me from getting my pastrami?
You would think as a local there, you're going somewhere else other than Katz's.
Oh, Katz's is great.
Is it the best?
Pastrami sandwich wise, I love going. I don't go there all the time. Then you guys would be asking me to play offensive line for the Panthers this year, even though you made some improvements. Yeah. But yeah, no, I go like 2 or 3 times a year, and there's nothing better to me than the samplers that they give you. You try all these things, you know what you're getting all the time. You get the pastrami, you get it with mustard, and then you get well done French fries, and maybe even crack open a beer, and you're good to go.
Wow, the great Zach Gelb. Last question before I wrap things up.
I have a question actually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Foley, I got to pull this up. Did you see his crazy? You know White House subs, right?
I do. They're delicious.
He doesn't like the cheesesteak at White House subs. Now, he was talking about D'Alessandro's. I love D'Alessandro's, but he's telling me you need an Italian sandwich or a meatball hero first at White House compared to the cheesesteak. I think the cheesesteak at White House. Now, every time I go, I'm at Atlantic City after a night out at the casino, so I probably need that extra grease the next day.
Absolutely.
But anytime I get the White House cheesesteak, I think it's phenomenal.
Well, I'll say this. The great Ed Foley's taste buds are seasoned. They are,
yeah.
That's the right word for it. They're seasoned. So I trust him. Now I'll say this. Their cheesesteak is fantastic. Their Italian hoagie is fantastic. So if he's sitting here and he's on this crazy measurable scale, but listen, when you're in the elite company, that's one of the places that's popular. That's still really good to me. Like the popular ones, they don't get me excited in Philly anymore. No. Because I feel like there's some good ones. I'm saying Jim's is good, and I like.
Yeah, Jim's is overrated. Let's be real. Jim's, Pat's, and Gino's all overrated.
Overrated. And Tony Luke's in South Philly, the pork Italiano broccoli rabe, maybe the greatest sandwich of all time. Their cheesesteak's solid. It's like good stuff. At the end of the day, like it's good stuff, but it's overrated and good for them. Great business model. But I can get it in Bucks County, just as good. And
well, the 3 best cheesesteaks I've ever had. This is going to probably create a lot of problems because you know how passionate and how much people fight about this, us being 2 Temple guys. Mama's in Bala Cynwyd is phenomenal, and it's for big dogs only. D'Alessandro's is one of my favorites. And then I do like John's Roast Pork. I think they make a phenomenal cheesesteak. The one I haven't tried yet, and it still annoys me to this day, and I haven't been in Philly for a while there, visit here and there, is supposedly Angelo's Pizzeria. The pizza and then the cheesesteak is one of the best in the city. So I have to try that next time I'm there.
Well, El Presidente there, Dave Portnoy, and he was blown away by it. Everyone's blown away by it. My buddy said he called like 250 times one time, just boop, 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 until they picked up just to get it to go order. The place is mob. Good for them.
What's the best food for the by the Panthers in Charlotte? You can only go 3 places. Where do you go to?
I go to Mi Amici, which is up at Lake Norman's, an Italian place. It's unbelievable. Guys from Utica, New York. Nicky Bonbon.
Is it good Italian down there?
It's fantastic. This place is good. He makes these Utica greens, which is like a collard green stuffing.
Oh, look at
Italian
you.
meat.
You're getting so snobby and soft now.
I'm telling you, bro. This place is telling you with garlic bread. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Foley likes it because you're even though Foley had a wacky taste.
Foley's
the other day. I trust Foley.
Food. Charlotte. I say this about Charlotte. You have like one of everything that's really good. It's
Italian,
not like City where you got like
barbecue.
boom, 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 straight through. So
Gotcha.
I probably can't rack off a list of you like that. I have my little places I like to go. But
also, you got to stay in shape too.
Listen, Zach, I'd rather train hard and eat a little better, eat a little worse.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Dion, when I went down to Florida, Joe's Stone Crab, I invited him out. I said, this is one of the best restaurants you're ever going to go to. He goes, I'm working out. All he did was get soup. He got soup. That's a dude that's dedicated to his diet. Weak, though, if you ask me. You got to have the stone crabs. You got to have the lobster mac and cheese. You have to have the fried chicken. Oh, it's one of the best meals ever.
You can make the argument that the soup. You can make the argument that the soup's worse for you than stone crabs. I mean, just have a bushel of stone crabs, Dion. You just signed a big ticket in New York.
Yeah. Well, I think that was before the contract.
Yes, there you go. Okay, as we wrap things up here, I had to ask a baseball question. How are things going to shake out here in the NL East? Phillies are getting hot. Mets are on fire. How's it looking in the NL East here?
Right now, the Braves and the Mets, as we sit here, they're going to start a big 3-game series coming up where Max Scherzer is going to be on the mound. I was at the Mets game yesterday. Taijuan Walker pitched great, but the Mets just couldn't hit. The Phillies need to do a little bit more for me to look at them as a threat to win this division. I think for now, it's a 2-team race between the Mets and the Braves. I will still sit here and feel good about my Mets, even though they've been doing this without Scherzer and DeGrom, which gives me confidence. But they have to go get an arm in the bullpen and another complementary piece at the plate. But the Braves got off to that slow start, and it seems like the Braves just can't lose right now. So it'll either be the Mets or the Braves. My Cabeza is telling me the Braves, but I'm not paid to give you an opinion that's unbiased. So I will tell you that the Mets are going to win the division still.
What do you think about the drama with Freddie Freeman?
That's wild. And it's died down a little bit. I don't know if I believe that the agent didn't give him the final offer or not. I just truly do not know. But it's clear that Freddie Freeman did not want to leave the did not want to leave the Braves, but you're now away from Atlanta. Okay, you have the emotions come back up when you went back and you got the ring and you saw your teammates and all that. But you're in a great situation and he's playing well. So his play has not been affected by it, which you thought maybe could like a little bit of a mental struggle, and it shows up in your performance at work. But he's still playing really good baseball. If I'm his teammate, though, and you understand the camaraderie of a locker room, if he keeps on saying this stuff, I'm like, this guy doesn't want to be here. Like, I know he's a great player, but forget about him. He's a professional, though. He'll keep it together, and I think he'll be fine. But I don't know if he'll stay that entire contract with the Dodgers.
That's the great Zach Gelb, Temple University graduate. Hopefully our Al's turning around this year. I think Drayton's the guy. Aaron McKee, hopefully he's the guy.
I need an NCAA tournament berth. The football program, since we just had a disaster in Rod Carey come and go, disaster. I give the football program a little bit time, even though, as we were talking about, that could be risky in the future of college football. Basketball, and I love Coach McKee, I got to see it back in the tournament. I'm sick and tired of watching the NCAA tournament and seeing all these great stories and going, where the heck is Temple?
We'll see. We'll see. That's Zach Gelb. Follow him on Twitter at Zach Gelb, CBS Sports Radio, the man. Appreciate you coming on, man. Love having you on. We'll get you on in the season.
Thanks, Colin. And I will not forget, if the Panthers are in the playoffs, your ticket in my hand, and all I do is pay the taxes those 27
I got it, the whole thing covered, brother. Don't worry about it. I'll even have maybe a cold beer and a cheesesteak sent to your seat.
Wow. That would be good. That would be impressive. Maybe I'll pay for the whole ticket then.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we got to get back to some of the breaking news, some of the things going on here at Not For Long Media. There's been, there's been a lot of change, a lot of fun stuff. I think the one thing that I'm really excited about here is our future, because we have a lot of things going on. Before I get into that, though, I was talking about our friends over at Tom Sleep and how important sleep is, especially as an athlete, but just for in general. Like, we all struggle with sleep. Some people don't. Some people are good with it. Some people have the phone rocking. Some people can't fall asleep because the TV's on, whatever that may be. But Som Sleep has literally changed my career. And we're so lucky that at Not For Long Media, we can work with people that are our sponsors, that are like our literally is my friends. And I got a great relationship with Brad there. And, we've worked something out where you use promo code Colin. They're going to hook you up. And, we'll work, the deal will, be what it is. But, I'm just excited for you guys to try this product that's so near dear to me. Check them out, Som Sleep. I take it in season. I take it probably 200 nights a year, 250 nights a year, depending on what's going on. But when I get out of season and I get in a rhythm and we're doing our normal deal, I don't need it as much. But, I like to take it, like I said, I'll take it 7 days a week, depending on what's going on. If I'm really tired, I don't need to take it. But if I took a nap that day, 20-minute power nap or a nap, it's the best thing to help you wind down and go to sleep. It's been so enjoyable for me to take. I literally cannot thank that product and Brad and them at Som Sleep enough. It's been huge for my career. I can get sleep in season. I didn't always sleep great in season, what due to soreness, due to whatever it may be. With magnesium and the natural products they have in there, it helps you go wind down really quick. So check them out, guys. Use promo code Colin. Som Sleep, SON. Get Som Sleep. Promo code Colin. Check them out. Appreciate our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Again, buying tickets for a game, SeatGeek. Promo code Colin Thompson. Check him out. All right. So breaking news here at Not For Long Media. There's a lot to report, and I'm going to break it up over the next 3 weeks. Breaking news, the boys are coming camping with me. So we're bringing Not For Long Media now for the second year in a row down to training camp. Jack Connell and the great Justin Ayers, those two studs that are really the backbone along with the rest of our team here at Not For Long Media. They're going to come down and they're going to be asking the guys on the team the hard-hitting questions. It's pretty cool for me to leave practice and then have the people that, I'm able to go to work with in my media company asking players questions, asking coaches questions. It's really unique. Last year, you check it out on YouTube. Justin did a great job interviewing players. I actually interviewed some players at the practice too, which is really unique. And how many guys in the NFL are really doing that? That's not an ego thing. That's just something I'm excited about and proud about, that we started something from the ground up. And here we are in Carolina. Here we are in an NFL facility. We're practiced against the Ravens last year. It's 100 degrees out. And there's Justin with the mics ready to go, the players lined up, and we're grilling the guys with the quick hitters after a game. So Justin Ayers and Jack Connell are coming camping, folks. Stay tuned. They're going to be down here at the end of July for 2 practices and then that night practice. So 2 practices. One of the practices at night. It's a fan night. So that's going to be really cool. It's in the stadium there where the Terriers of Wofford College play. We practice in Spartanburg. So that's some of our breaking news. More to come next 2 weeks. We have really 2, 3, 4 big additions coming here, Not For Long Media, future podcasts that we're really excited about. And something that's kind of near and dear to me because we've been building this thing from the ground up. Like I said, there's no greater joy than seeing that. Congrats are in order to the USA women's lacrosse team. They won the World Cup of Women's Lacrosse this past weekend, beating Canada in a close game. A little rain, a little fun going on at Towson University. So shout out to Taylor Cummings, Alice Mercer, all our friends on the team, and the entire USA team. Taylor won player of the whole tournament. Alice is a friend too. She won. I think she was one of the players, the 8 or 10 players I recognized for the all tournament team. There are some of our few friends on the team, but again, so happy for that group of girls. That's a group of girls that I watched playing when I was just started dating my wife, Sydney, 2-3 years when she played at the University of Florida. And now to see them kind of full circle win a World Cup after waiting 5-6 years after COVID. That's awesome. So congrats to them. It's absolutely massive. And, I'm just jacked for Taylor and that group of girls that are so dedicated to a sport, just on and off the field, of how they do business, like above and beyond what you expect from someone's sport. Like, talk about giving back to people. It's just incredible what Taylor and that group of girls do in growing that brand of women's lacrosse, the advocacy for it. It's not normal. And it's so commendable what they do. So shout out to them. Obviously, guys, it's not one of the biggest sports in the world, right? When it comes to sellability and it, the viewership and all that, but they have pushed and they have pushed and they've pushed and they've got it on these big, networks. And it's credit to them. It's credit to Taylor. It's credit to that team. And just really excited for them and their group of people, an awesome group of people. We have a great core, and a lot of it has to do with that group there. So I want to read a tweet from Taylor. It's a shame. So this guy actually deleted the tweet, and that's what I was scrolling there. It was talking on a little bit. Is there was a guy that tweeted, so Taylor had a sick goal, comes around the net, jumps, boom, flips it, and in women's lacrosse, they have to check the pocket of the stick to make sure it's legal. If it has the pocket's too deep, right, they can cradle it more and create more advantage for themselves. So the netting in women's lacrosse is actually firmer than the men's, where you can be held more in the pocket and you can protect the ball more. It's a much different game. Physicality is way different. So it's a shame this guy deleted the tweet because everyone jumped on his back. Taylor's tweet got 68 retweets, more than that, 100 retweets, I should say, 1,500 likes, and this guy released a tweet. So that's a cop out on my man. That's a shame. And it really wasn't even that bad. He just said he disagreed with Taylor. So what they do is they score and you drop your stick and they measure the ball in the stick every time for every goal. Before there was like a challenge for it, right? So like a coach's challenge. Now they do it for every goal. Well, the guy says, like, this is, if I was a coach or I was a player, I would never want my kid to see this. This is it. Taylor scores a sick goal, biggest game of her life, goes around the net and rips it in. Probably the coolest goal in her career, one of them. Most important, at least at this juncture. And she slams her stick down, sick, because you got to drop your stick anyway. She spikes it, awesome, no big deal, no harm, no foul. So some guy tweets, if I was a parent and I was a coach, I would want anybody to see this. I wouldn't want anybody to replicate this or whatever that may be in that direction of like the go home, like get off my lawn crowd of like, hand the ball to the official type guy. So Taylor tweets, quote, "When you've trained for one game for decades, every moment hits so hard. I sincerely hope that your daughter gets to experience the joy of competing for a gold medal one day. If and when she does, I'll be cheering her on and will love watching her celebrate proudly with her teammates." End quote. First class Taylor all the way. No shocker there. Unbelievable. Bravo, Taylor, again. Just kind of the beacon for women's lacrosse world publicly and how to do things the right way. And I tweeted this. I used to be the hand the ball to the ref guy, but once you find out how short-lived it is, I don't care anymore. Spike it. So my whole life, I was the hand the ball to the ref guy, first class, got to do all that stuff. But first class is just living the game the right way. It's not how you handle yourself. Obviously it is how you handle yourself in that respect, how you treat people with respect. But there was no disrespect by Taylor on that play. Just respect for the game, the grind, the process. Again, no issue with that. I'll never forget this in my kind of story when it hit me is I'm sitting at the Seaview, which is our local pub in Cape May, New Jersey. I just called a game on Temple football radio. I think we played like at, say, ECU on a Saturday night. I flew into town. I landed at Philly like 3 a.m. I got in an Uber, or I got in my car. I drove to a hotel in Philly. I stayed the night, got up in the morning after like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, not even, and went over to South Philly and did the radio with 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey, and worked with Tony Bruno and Joe Kraus and Mike Gill and those guys in South Jersey, John McMullen. And I did an Eagles pregame show, which was awesome. And it gave me a lot of reps in front of a mic and talking and being articulate and all the great things you need to do to be good at, this job that I'm doing now. And I did my podcast through it all too, but I was coaching football and I wasn't playing. I was training. And, long story short, I went back to Cape May and I would always get back because the game show, the show would always end an hour before the games. And I would get back and I'd just go right to the Seaview. I'd miss whatever the first 5 minutes of the quarter because it took me about an hour and a half to get down there. The games will start around like 1:15 after all the national anthem and all that stuff. So I sit down, I'm sitting at the bar and, I grabbed myself a drink or whatever it was. I mean, I don't even have a drink or anything. I was training Monday. So I just grabbed myself a water and some wings and just watching the game. And someone from the Ravens scored and there's a huge Ravens contingency there. And they're all my family friends. And they were furious that the guy celebrated in the end zone, didn't hand the ball to the ref. And I used to be that guy too. Like, man, just hand the ball to the ref but it hit me as I was sitting in the bar, not doing what I love the most, not doing what I work every single day for, and I'm watching my friends do it. I just said, screw it. Now, I haven't had many opportunities to score and do many things with the ball, but go crazy, man. You only have one shot at this thing, so go crazy. Congrats to Taylor. She slammed the stick. She scored a goal in the freaking World Cup, women's lacrosse. They don't have Olympics. This is the next best thing. She has a gold medal. Their team has a gold medal. So just freaking tear it up. Who cares, man? As long as you're doing it in a respectful first-class manner, there's absolutely nothing wrong with spiking the ball, throwing it into 50 rows up, engaging the fans, engage with your teammates, and have a freaking ball. The stuffy, get off my lawn crowd, it's over, man. I'm sorry. I feel the same way about what's going on in college football. Change is inevitable. Get with it or get passed up. So congrats to Taylor. Congrats to their team. Champs. The other thing I want to rip on here, and we could pull it up and maybe we can put this up, is I don't know if I didn't watch the WNBA All-Star game, but I saw a picture of whoever won it today, and I just had to click on it. But the trophy for the WNBA All-Star game, the winner, the MVP of the game, literally got a trophy that was the size of an iPhone. Ridiculous. The size of a notepad. Ridiculous. For the MVP. Now, I didn't watch the game. I'm not setting my alarm to watch the WNBA All-Star game. I've never watched a WNBA regular season game, I'll be honest. I watch women's college basketball because our friends Nell and Mickey are coaches at Georgia Tech. I've watched other games before too, March Madness, UConn, whatever, Notre Dame. But I haven't watched a WNBA game, and I don't plan on it. But that's ridiculous that they gave that little trophy like that. Like that's like someone who holds like the little bass, the small bass up to the mic to make it look like they caught a huge largemouth bass. So same on the WNBA. You're trying to grow your brand, similar to what someone like Taylor and Team USA are doing. Pick up. pick it up a little bit. It's not a good look by the WNBA. So, guys, I appreciate you listening to me rant. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Zach Gelb and I know each other from our time at Temple. Zach covered us at Temple when he was a student, when he was a professional after that. So again, it's great, having someone on like Zach, because we're kind of, moving in the same direction. I'm a huge fan of his show. First off, huge fan of Zach as a human, as a great guy. He's done it the right way throughout his career. So check him out on CBS Sports. Follow him on Twitter at Zach Gelb. He's got a great following, and he's just a great guy. And lastly, for me, again, really excited from our partnership coming up with Som Sleep. Our entire podcast family, Not For Long Media, will all have the partnership. Use their promo code, support their different podcasts, support our friends at Som Sleep. It's a drink. I would say the size of like a Red Bull can. It's sweet. I like the sugar-free. Some people like the sugar. Test it out. Let me know what you think. I sleep fantastic through the night. I love it when I take a nap, because sometimes you take a nap and you can't fall asleep at night. I love that. And it really winds me down, calms me down, and forces me to go to bed because my eyes start slamming shut. It's not that aggressive. And I think the best part about it is in the morning, you're not groggy, which is such an awesome thing for those that have taken like NyQuil or taken all these, heavy magnesium things. Som Sleep's the best. So guys, check out our friends at Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Can't wait for my mom to send me, she's down the Jersey Shore, a box of fudge to us in training camp. It's always a highlight moment for the guys there. I'll hold it as long as I can. I'll hold back as long as I can, but I'll treat the guys there at the end of camp to some sweet fudge and sweet treats from our friends at Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Check them out, shipping everywhere. And then our friends at SeatGeek, appreciate your support. Promo code Colin Thompson. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Again, congrats to Team USA Women's Lacrosse team. WNBA, pick it up with the just ridiculous trophy the size of an iPhone. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the Zach Gelb episode. More to come in Not For Long Media. A few new podcasts I think everyone's going to like. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to what's next in Not For Long Media.